Christian, I know you spoke to Pakistan's defense minister today, and he told you that the government and the armed forces are on the same page as far as the war on terror is concerned. Earlier this year, though, Pakistan's prime minister tried to broker a peace deal with the Pakistani Taliban. So are they on the same page?
Well, look, they are all speaking from the same page today after this horrendous attack. The defense minister said that this attack wouldn't deter them. And he did say, look, yes, we wanted to have peace with them, but they all, broke down and they didn't pursue that with us. And we kind of expected, since our offensive in June, that there would be backlash from the Taliban. But he said it is absolutely awful what happened at this school, and that he called the security at that military-run school slack, to say the least.
You mentioned the offensive the Pakistan's army launched against the Taliban back in June, and attacks in the country had actually declined since then. Do you think this attack, though, spurs the Pakistan military to fight even harder against the Taliban? Because that's the criticism for a long time of them, that they're so focused on, their forces focused on India, that they're not focusing as much on against the Taliban.
You're absolutely right. And I pressed the defense minister about that. I said, who is your main enemy? Is it India? Or do you admit that it is these extremists, these jihadis, this Taliban? And he said, there is no doubt about it. While we may have complicated relations with various countries on our borders, the biggest threat to peace, the biggest threat to Pakistan are these jihadis, is the Taliban. But as many people have said, if this kind of massive attack on the military's own children doesn't spur a full-scale forward march and change of tune, really, then practically nothing will, Anderson.
And I mean, they have targeted children in the past. Malala Yousafzai, who I think you spoke to just a couple days ago, if not last week, she obviously survived assassination back in 2012. She came out, obviously, condemning this attack today. It will be interesting to see if in Pakistan this is actually a turning point.
That is going to be very interesting to watch, because there has been a degree of brainwashing by the Taliban, and yet they don't actually have a majority support. Politically, it's said that the Taliban are defeated, certainly in Afghanistan and to an extent in Pakistan, but militarily they remain a threat, and they have increased their threat quotient in the last many months, particularly as the US starts to pull back. Whether this has an effect on the hearts and minds in Pakistan and concentrates the minds of people who might have thought that, the Taliban were, standing up for Pakistan, socking one to the United States, if you like, whether people can get over that and really understand that they are an existential threat to Pakistanis remains to be seen. And such a heartbreaking comment from the defense minister. He said, the smaller the coffin, the heavier it is to bear for us. And he really means that, because this is an unprecedented attack.
And I mean, why target children, particularly if you're trying to change perception or win over followers in the country? I mean, I guess it's only because they're the children of military officers.
Well, this particular attack, the Taliban spokespeople told CNN early in the siege, earlier this morning our time, that this was revenge for that very Pakistani government and military offensive that has been taking place since mid-June. And they said this is revenge for that. However, I think they probably have not reckoned with or don't care about the backlash and the sheer revulsion that it has caused. But clearly they realize, that this was no good in terms of winning hearts and minds.
It's still shocking. Christian Amanpour, thanks, Christian.